Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to my podcast, Cori's Corner. I'm Cori. I will be your host. This will be a podcast where I will be sharing knowledge and experiences from my perspective. My main goal with this podcast is to share my truth, share my experiences, share various things that I view from my perspective. I also hope to have conversations with others and learn from others. Overall, my main goal is to make sure people learn. I feel that I have knowledge that may be beneficial for others to have, but also it could be interesting to share. And I feel like that's kind of linked to my ikigai, which, for those who may not know what it is, it's a Japanese principle which, from what I understand, is what brings meaning and purpose to your life. And I find that for me is sharing challenges, sharing hardship, sharing ways that I navigate through life. Um, I have a unique way of seeing things, which has been carved through my education, but also my life experiences. And throughout conversations with family and friends or new people that I've met, I've come to realize that I have unique knowledge that isn't known by most people or many people. And that knowledge I have acquired through my formal education. I have a bachelor's degree in biomedical sciences. I have another bachelor's degree in human kinetics. And I also have a master's degree in occupational therapy. So it may come as no surprise when I say that I love learning. I see myself as a lifelong learner. Um, I dedicated a lot of time and energy into my formal education, and I've acquired a lot of knowledge that um, I use on a day to day basis. On a personal level, I enjoy being physically active, I enjoy traveling, I love reading, and I really, really enjoy connecting with others. Not to mention, those who know me very well would add that I have a unique and special appreciation for sleep and food. Through my formal education and my life experiences, I have learned to view every single experience in life, whether it be positive or negative, as something that I can learn from and grow. This was a overarching theme of my master's degree where when we had no idea what we were doing for an assignment or um, for an assignment or a project, and or things were a lot more difficult than we expected and things didn't turn out how we had hoped to. So, one thing that my master's degree taught me is how to adapt. It's part of the occupational therapy practice to help people overcome barriers, obstacles, and challenges, and how to adapt and how to participate in their daily activities that are meaningful to them. And I find that that overall theme is one that I apply a lot in my personal life, and that has helped me reframe how I um, view challenges. When something is difficult for me to do, it doesn't mean that I can't do it or that I shouldn't do it. I just seek a different way to achieve it or to get a similar outcome. I've also learned to reframe how I view negative experiences as any opportunity that I can grow and learn from. And I hoped to share a bit of that, my way of seeing things and what I've learned in this podcast. So, my goal for this podcast and what you can expect from it is I'm committing. So, I told myself, let's not make it too complicated. I'm committing to 12 episodes, this being the first one. And well, I want to share one episode per month. Um, and as I navigate through life, I hope that I can inspire others, and that others can learn from what I have to share and from my experiences and my education. importantly, I hope to continue learning about new topics and ultimately share what I've learned. And as I mentioned previously, to learn from others. So right now you're stuck with me. I don't know when, but I would love to have not host, sorry. I would love to have guests on this podcast. I hope to continue to learn about new topics and share what I've learned. My interests are pretty varied and broad. I enjoy learning about health, wellness, well being, pretty much anything science related. I am a nerd. I love learning and understanding how humans function, whether it's on a physiological or biological level. Psychologically, that stuff interests me as well. And sociologically, sociologic, I can't say that word, but from the science of sociology, how humans interact with each other, that's really interesting to me as well. I do not know everything. I try my best not to pretend like I know everything, because I I'm aware that I don't know everything, and I believe that that's okay. I hope to continue learning. I One of the main things that I'm learning lately after completing my formal education, or at least for now, is navigating through life. I find that I lack some of that experience of how to be an adult and how to do adult things. Although some people may think that I have my shit together, I am honestly doing the best I can with what I have and always learning from my experiences. Um, I use my education to help me live a better life. Through my degree in human kinetics, I plan my workouts. I have tools and strategies to improve my physical health, how to prevent and treat certain small injuries. So anything to supplement whatever my healthcare providers will suggest that I do. Um, in addition to that, I take a lot from my education on how to support good mental health, well being, and wellness. One of the big things with me in my life is prioritizing and improving self care. It's super important to take care of yourself. I can be very determined and I'm very perseverant. I don't know if that can be said in English, so excuse me. By the way, I just have to say, English is my third-ish language, so sometimes I'm thinking in French, and if things sound a little bit funny, I'm just gonna blame it on I'm just gonna blame it on that. So I apologize in advance. But all to say, um, I forget what I was saying, but where I was going with that is I use my knowledge to improve my life and my well being overall. One of the big things that I achieved in the last year was finding balance in life and having a balanced and healthy routine. Um, One of my goals in this podcast is to be honest and vulnerable with you guys. So, I do live with several chronic medical conditions, and I it was easy. I've always known that health is important. A lot of people say you have nothing without health. Take care of yourself first because nobody else will take care of you, etc. But in the last couple years, I it really hit me, and I grew a better appreciation for what it means to have good health. Um, and I find that having structure and a routine to be very helpful with managing my medical conditions and overall still living an enjoyable and fulfilling life, all while maintaining my well being. I'm not perfect. Again, not going to pretend. I aim to wake up around the same time every day. I enjoy starting my day with physical activity. Um, Living with a chronic medical condition means that I constantly have to think about how I feel, what I will be doing, and do like a mini assessment of the potential impact of what my next activity will have on my body and on the rest of my day. So having a routine, a semi-structured routine that I follow on a daily basis is pretty helpful with managing these conditions and allow me to participate in pretty much anything that I want to and that I find important to do. I find that by meeting my basic needs, I don't know if any of you know the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where at the bottom of the pyramid, it's a pyramid, and at the bottom of the pyramid, Maslow um, theory says that we have basic needs, which I don't remember exactly what they are, so don't quote me on this, but I believe there's love, food, water, and shelter. And I find that it's important to have at least those basic needs met in order to be able to better participate and in your other activities. I did have a period in life where I felt like my basic needs were not being met. Um, and it led to aggravation of my medical conditions. And it's something that I do not wish any other person to experience, yet it's an experience that I did have. I learned a lot from, and I will likely to continue have the most growth from it. Um, so from that is kind of following that is kind of where I'm at now, where I'm seeing the value of what I learned through my education, where it's important to have a balance in life of through the occupational therapy lens, there's leisure, self-care, and productivity. So any activity or task that is important or meaningful or that needs to be done by in occupational therapy, we kind of classify them either as leisure, self-care, or productivity. And having that lived experience of what I learned in school is I can still do things. I can still do most things, almost anything that I seek to. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little nervous. It's hard to be vulnerable. I've listened to a lot of talks by Brene Brown about vulnerability, and that is one of the big things that I hope to do with this podcast. Um, and it's nerve-wracking for me to put myself out there, but I think it's important to do. I genuinely feel that, along with what I said earlier, what I experience can perhaps inspire, I hope that it can perhaps inspire others. um, and I'm very grateful for my education to allow me to see things from a different perspective and to become more resilient in life. Um, I can still, although I do deal with chronic medical conditions, I can do most things that I want, need, and would like to do. Sometimes those things look a little bit different than what the average person does, but different processes lead to similar or identical outcome. I've developed tools and strategies to manage my symptoms and how to thrive, um, even though I deal with these things. Um, I've come to realize that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Most of my friends try to remind me that I'm doing great and that I've overcome a lot. Um, in the last year, I lost, well, that one of the dogs that my family has, Bubba, passed away. And it taught me a lot about um, living life day to day. Not day to day, but um, being grateful and shifting our perspective on how we see things. What I mean, living in the moment, appreciating the moment, enjoying the moment. If there's one thing that's guaranteed in life, and I apologize, I don't want to be too morbid, but there's two things that are guaranteed in life. So, one, death is guaranteed. You never know when it's going to happen, but it will happen. And the only constant in life is change. So yeah, nobody ever knows when the last time will be with a loved one. And losing a pet, losing this, he was so cute. Um, he wasn't always enjoyable to be around. He didn't always appreciate my presence, and he let it be known, and that's just how it was. But it taught me to enjoy every single moment as much as when he wasn't happy with me. When he wasn't happy with me and he was growling at me, which he would do like almost like 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. on the dot. If I entered his zone, his space, he would growl and let me know that he did not want me to be too close to him. And that made me laugh, and it made me appreciate every single moment. And I find that that prepared me to transition into the chapter of life where he is no longer with us. Um, it's it's been difficult to live life without him. We had 14 great years with him. And I I saw as his health decline as he aged that each day was a gift, and I aimed to appreciate every single moment that I had with him. He brought my family together. Um, it really is fascinating to me how humans are social creatures, and how some people, and I'll include myself in that, underestimate the importance of social support and social connectedness. This may be something that I delve into a little bit more in a future episode, but I've learned in 2023, 2022, which has been kind of what's led up to me doing this podcast, the importance of having social support, of not being isolated. It's okay, this will have to be another episode. This will have to be another episode on its own for sure. But it's all to say that I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things to share. In the process of working on this project, which is Cori's Corner, um, it's been a key part of growth and discovery for myself. And I find that it's part of my ikigai, um, which I think is multi level. But I think a key part of it is sharing my truth and sharing my knowledge. And while doing that, I think that that is therapeutic, cathartic, and transformative for me. Um, I'm very, very excited about starting this podcast. I hope that I will have at least one person benefit, learn, and follow me in this journey. Um, there's various topics that I hope to talk about. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the next episode will be how to. I hoped to talk about how to improve and foster mental and physical well-being, particularly during the winter months, which I live in Canada, and with the winter months, I find that it can be difficult to take care of yourself physically and mentally with the shorter days, having less daylight, the cold, the weather. It can be difficult to stay physically active, especially if you're used to doing it outdoors and you don't like the cold. Um, I've learned to appreciate winter. I used to hate winter with a passion. I used to dream of escaping winter and being a snowbird at the age of 17, um, and just leaving the cold and leaving the winter behind. But honestly, I'm at the point where I genuinely appreciate winter. I hope to one day love it. I think I am getting close to loving it. I mean, there is less bugs. Being being a bit of a hermit crab sometimes and being an introvert, it's a lot easier um to uh to get out of doing things and to spend time alone and to stay indoors. But at the same time, there's a caveat with that where it's very easy to isolate yourself and it's very easy um to kind of let go and forget to not forget, but to I'm thinking of the word in French, délaisser, but to for your health and well-being to kind of go on the back burner. And a lot of times it's a bit insidious where you don't really realize what's happening, and some damage can be done by having poor habits. And that's I think that being intentional and mindful of how we use our time and how we take care of our body and what activities we do throughout the days, um, I think it has I think it has a compound effect in the long run. Um, so I hope that this was interesting. I hope that people will tune in to the next episode, which will be shared in 1 month's time. So I'm aiming to post on the first Monday of every month, to be determined if I achieve this goal. Um, and in the meantime, in between episodes that are being posted, feel free to connect with me on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitter. My handle for all three of those platforms are from Cori's Corner. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to be alerted when new videos are posted. But we'll see each other again on on the first Monday of February. Um, all in all, thank you for tuning into Cori's Corner. I'm very excited about this journey. In the meantime, stay curious, stay inspired, and always keep exploring. I'm your host, Cori, and this is Cori's Corner.